A Colorado woman who stabbed her mother 79 times inside their home in Aurora.
I didn't murder anybody. I'm just a random girl on the street that you ambushed. I'm not evil. Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. Because you have no conscience.
This is the exclusive footage of the interrogation of Isabela Guzman, just hours after she brutally attacked her mother 79 times. This gruesome incident made Isabela famous on TikTok, but it also changed the course of her life forever. Here are 10 famous TikTokers who were involved in murder cases. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. Number 10. Nicola Priest. On August 8, 2020, a TikToker named Nicola Priest killed her child after being disturbed while she was doing something unusual. Born and raised in Salford, England, Nicola Priest was a 23-year-old mother and an influencer on TikTok. She occasionally posted to seek fame and attention. Although her fan base wasn't that strong, many people were entertained by her child, KJ. The followers noticed signs of harm on the child's body, but they thought it was just an accident or caused by playing. But behind this, the child suffered severe harm from his mother, which eventually led to his death. Nicola Priest and her 22-year-old boyfriend, Callum Redfern, were reportedly often harming the child, using him as a punching bag whenever he disturbed what they were doing. One night, Callum went to Nicola's apartment, but because the child kept crying and vomiting due to severe pain, they lost their patience. In their anger, they severely harmed the child. That was when Kay's life was taken. Their biggest mistake was not calling for help immediately. According to the report, if they had called emergency services right away, the child might have been saved. The case got even worse when Nicola allegedly used the loss of her child for TikTok fame. She even posted RIP videos to gain people's sympathy. Because of the evidence, they were charged with murder. Nicola was sentenced to 15 years in prison, while Callum got 14 years. And this is where the case ends, a tragedy that also became an example of the dangers of seeking fame. On August 1, 2022, there was an attack on East Peachtree Street in Roswell, Georgia, that targeted 29-year-old Dakota Bradshaw inside his own home. The suspects, Jhontica Collier and Eric Dodds, are a famous TikTok and OnlyFans couple known for their LGBTQ content and have around 800,000 followers. Meanwhile, the victim, Bradshaw, was an honor student who, according to the investigation, the suspects targeted the house. After the incident, the police listened to witnesses who saw a red truck and a blue Dodge Challenger at the crime scene. Later, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation determined that the vehicle resembled the one used by the couple in their TikTok videos. Because of this, the GPS data and phone records were gathered, which traced the movements of the two from Huntsville to Chattanooga to the crime scene. On August 10, 2022, Yandere was arrested as the primary suspect in the murder case. This caused a strong reaction on TikTok, where many fans expressed their support and created hashtags for his release. Eric Dodds, on the other hand, posted many videos on the platform where he denied the accusations against Jhontica and even started a GoFundMe, supposedly to prove his innocence. If you're wondering how GoFundMe is related to proving the case, we also don't have a clear explanation for that. But just 6 days later, Eric was also arrested in connection with the same case. 2 more suspects were arrested, and one of them, Dodger Larissa Collins, pleaded guilty. In the end, the TikTok couple was found guilty of murder and sentenced to life imprisonment without parole, plus an additional 5 years for illegal possession of a firearm during the commission of the crime. The verdict for Jhontica and Eric sparked a new wave of outrage on TikTok, but it was quickly overshadowed by even bigger uproar over the next case. Number 8. Cameron Herron. Cameron Herron is one of the TikTokers who is very well known online, and many people even had a crush on him at one point. On May 23, 2018, Cameron was driving his Mustang GT on Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa, Florida, when he hit a 24-year-old woman who was with her child. Both of them died. Cameron was 18 years old at that time, living with his family in Tampa Bay. He was studying at Tampa Catholic High School and was known for his looks. That's why he attracted many followers online. After graduation, his parents gave him a Ford Mustang as a gift. But this car also became part of the tragedy. On the day of the accident, he was with his brother Tristan and his friend John Baranoff. They decided to race while driving, and that's where the tragedy began. According to the investigation, Cameron was driving at over 102 mph, exceeding the legal speed limit. Because of this, he hit a mother and her child who were walking. On the road, John Baranoff entered a plea deal and was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 15 years probation. Cameron's brother had his case dismissed. In April 2021, Cameron was sentenced to 24 years in prison, which sparked widespread discussion online. There were still people who supported him because of his looks, and the hashtags about him on TikTok reached millions of views. If he is not granted parole, he is expected to be released in 2045, so he will spend almost his entire life in prison. This is the face of TikTok personality Claire Miller, who was convicted in 2021 for killing her own sister. Born in 2007, Claire Elena Miller lived with her parents in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. She had an older sister who was 5 years older, Helen, who had cerebral palsy and was in a wheelchair. They studied at Lancaster Country Day School. After class, Claire would often lock herself in her room and make TikTok videos. And in most of these videos, she did nothing wrong. It just shows Miller lip syncing to sad pop songs or dancing in her room. Because of this, she gained over 22,000 followers on her main account, Spirits and Such Consulting. But her follower count increased even more after she committed that crime. On February 22, 2021, the Miller family had dinner on a Sunday, and like a normal family, they said goodnight to each other. But a few minutes after midnight, Claire started planning to end her sibling's life. She went down to the kitchen, took a weapon, entered her siblings' room, and mercilessly attacked them 9 times in the neck. Afterwards, she even used a pillow to finish off her sibling, who was already barely conscious. At 10 in the morning, Claire called 911 and admitted that she attacked her sibling. At 1 a.m., the police arrived at the Miller residence and found Claire badly injured by her sibling. Her parents immediately found out what happened. The police and paramedics tried to save Helen, but she didn't make it. She was declared dead around 4 in the morning at first. Everyone, including her parents, thought it wasn't planned and that it might have just been an accident. But everything changed when Claire was given McDonald's, and she said, "Oh, McDonald's.
If I'd known I'd get McDonald's, I would have killed someone sooner."
Everyone was even more creeped out when she compared herself to Michael Myers, the character from the movie Halloween. According to the psychiatrist, Claire was experiencing auditory hallucinations and even tried to take her own life that night. On March 10, 2023, Claire Miller pleaded guilty to third-degree murder. Although she was considered to have a mental illness but not legally insane, she was sentenced to 12.5 to 40 years in prison. In his verdict, the judge said that even though it is painful for the family, they both have to face the loss of one child and the guilt of another. This is the famous TikToker Jinkid, together with his wife before he cruelly ended her life. On August 21, 2021, Jinkid, whose real name is Ali Abulaban, he killed his wife, Anna Abulaban, and the man she was with, Rayburn Cardenas Barron, in their apartment in San Diego. Before the incident, Abulaban was famous on social media. He had almost 1 million followers on TikTok and 170,000 subscribers on YouTube, reaching around 25 million views. He became known for his impersonation videos, such as Tony Montana from Scarface and the rapper 6ix9ine. In the eyes of the public, he was part of a power couple with his wife. But a few weeks before the incident, their relationship started to fall apart. Anna complained of domestic violence and was even planning to file a restraining order against him. Abulaban left their residence, but he still managed to get a copy of the key. Using this, he was able to enter the apartment again and allegedly installed a listening app on their child's iPad. When he heard his wife with another man, he immediately grabbed his shotgun, drove to the apartment, and used the spare key to get inside. When he got inside, he attacked the man with his wife 3 times, and then he also attacked Anna. After the incident, he left the apartment full of regret and called his mother to confess what he had done. Afterwards, he even went straight to the school to pick up his child and told them that he had hurt mommy. It turns out that he seemed to have done everything in a fit of emotion because, while on the way home with his child, he even called the police to report the crime. Later on, he was arrested after the security camera captured him, entering and leaving the apartment. At first, Jinkid was cooperative with the authorities, but there was a problem when he decided to plead not guilty during his trial. Now, the prosecutors are seeking the maximum penalty, including the death penalty, if he is found guilty. On January 17, 2021, the cosplay TikToker known as Yandere Freak, or Snow the Salt Queen, attacked and killed her friend Ellen Rose Hastings in Houston, Texas. Her real name is Marianne Oliver Snow, and before her account was deleted, she reached over 1.6 million followers. According to the investigation, she hosted a sleepover with some friends. Throughout the night, they watched a Batman movie while drinking and indulging in various vices, which eventually led to tragedy. In the middle of their celebration, Marianne brought out a weapon that her boyfriend had left behind. According to her statement, her boyfriend supposedly told her that it wasn't loaded. But in reality, the weapon was still loaded. Helen, who was also drunk, even joked and seemed to challenge Marianne to attack her like a scene from a horror movie. Marianne attacked her on the head and her body immediately fell to the floor. At that point, everyone panicked. They immediately called the police and tried to put a teddy bear on the victim's head to prevent further injury. When the police arrived, Helen was brought to the hospital and her parents were immediately notified. But unfortunately, she was already dead. Marianne was taken to the precinct, but this is where the case took an unusual turn. Marianne was released after posting a $20,000 bail. Until now, it is still unclear who paid the bail. Eventually, it was revealed that she violated her curfew, failed to appear at a pre-trial hearing, and even let her GPS tracking device run out of battery. But despite this, no serious action was taken against her. After her release, she continued posting on TikTok using a new private account called Snow the Salt Queen. Her content shows her cosplaying as Harley Quinn, sometimes with fake blood. 2 years have passed, but she is still active on social media. Has her Instagram been shadow banned? But she still keeps posting, and there are links to her Patreon, OnlyFans, and Amazon wishlist. Up to now, it's still unclear why she hasn't been convicted, or if she will face charges in the future. In the eyes of many, it seems like she got away with the murder case. Even though she's not a famous TikToker, Isabela is known on social media because of the case involving the killing of her mother in 2013. Born in 1995, Isabela grew up in Colorado with her parents. Even as a child, she and her mother often fought. Their family did not have an easy life because of financial problems. In addition, her parents separated and her mother remarried right away. This made their relationship even worse until it ended in tragedy. A day before the crime, Isabela sent an email to her mother with the words, "You will pay." This wasn't the first time. She sent several more emails containing threats and blackmail. Because of this, her mother reported it to the police. But unfortunately, they didn't know that in less than 24 hours, they would return to a crime scene, wishing they had taken stricter action instead of just advising Isabela. At 9 p.m. on August 28, Mrs. Yan Miho came home from work and decided to take a shower first. Less than 10 minutes had passed when her stepfather, Ryan Ho, heard his wife scream from the bathroom, calling for help. He immediately ran to save her, but he noticed that Isabela was pulling and holding the bathroom door, preventing him from entering. He ran downstairs, called the police, and when he came back, he saw Isabela standing in front of the bathroom door holding a weapon, while his wife was lying on the floor, soaked and injured. Isabela walked past him, and because of the intense shock, the stepfather was unable to stop her. When the police arrived, they found Mrs. Yan Miho lying on the bathroom floor, naked and covered in blood, with a baseball bat beside her. According to the autopsy, she was attacked 31 times in the face and 48 times in the neck. Isabela was arrested after a 16-hour manhunt and charged with first-degree murder. But despite this, the court made a shocking decision. The judge allowed Isabela's insanity defense plea, and she was declared not guilty by reason of insanity. Because of this, she was not imprisoned in a regular jail, but was placed in a mental health facility since 2013. Many people talked about her case on TikTok and social media, especially because there was evidence of her threatening her mother before the crime. That's why some people believe it was planned. However, according to doctors, Isabela has schizophrenia, so this became the basis for the court's decision. Until now, she is still in a mental facility, and there are concerns about when or if she will ever be released. Divorce is a very difficult process for anyone. Everyone knows this. Sometimes it comes with intense anger and pain. It can lead to unexpected decisions. This is what happened to TikTok personality Sonia Khan and her estranged husband Raheel Ahmad. Sonia Khan was born on April 8, 1993 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. She grew up in a normal family and graduated from the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga, where she majored in psychology and women's studies. But her life changed when she married Raheel Ahmad in June 2021. After their 5-year relationship. After the wedding, they moved to Chicago. This is where Sonia started to change. She became depressed and reportedly threatened to take her own life several times. Because of the gravity of the situation, she filed for divorce just 6 months after their wedding. Although the separation was amicable and Raheel left for Alpharetta, Georgia, problems arose when Sonia began sharing her divorce experience. On TikTok, Sonia shared some detailed information about their relationship and the alleged abuse she experienced during the 6 months of their relationship. Because of this, Raheel became extremely upset because he felt that Sonia was ruining his name and image on social media. Because of this anger, he decided to stop her by any means necessary. Raheel flew more than 800 miles from Georgia to Chicago to confront his wife, planning to kill her before taking his own life afterward. This was a very sad and shocking incident. The police found his body inside Sonia's apartment along with a 9mm Glock note and a head injury. At that time, Sonia had more than 22,000 followers on TikTok. Her disappearance sparked widespread discussion around the world, especially in Asian social media communities, about gender-based violence and domestic abuse in relationships and families. The important word here is family, because unlike Sonia Khan, who was killed by her estranged husband, the next TikToker was killed by her own sibling. In 2022, the Iraqi TikToker known as Maria was attacked and killed by her own sibling in what is called an honor killing. Before discussing how she was killed, it's important to first understand why it happened. Iman was active on TikTok and had around 47,000 followers. Despite coming from a conservative society, she often wore crop tops and made videos while engaging in vices. Aside from this, she was also known as a feminist and was praised by her followers for her strong convictions. There are also reports saying that she went against certain religious rules. This includes wearing a cross as an ornament. According to her family, she did not truly convert, and it was just an accessory. But despite all of this, it was her brother who decided to end her life. On the day of the incident, her brother waited on a street in the city of Erbil, in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. When he saw Iman, he shot her 8 times, which immediately caused her death. Later, he was caught by the police. But it is not clear what exactly happened to him after he was arrested. The tragic death of Iman caused intense anger and discussion on social media. Many people condemn the practice of honor killing and its continued existence in some parts of the world. Because of this, Kurdistan has also come under scrutiny as a place with reports of gender-based violence in recent years. In one of her last posts on Facebook, Iman wrote, "I believe that people will always cause suffering at the hands of their fellow human beings. This is the latest and reportedly the most shocking among all the TikTok personalities involved in murder cases." If you're active on TikTok, you've probably seen Mahek Bukhari, a popular creator who was supported by her mother in her social media career. Becoming an influencer had been her dream since childhood. After graduating from college, she started building her online presence and eventually reached over 129,000 followers on TikTok, along with brand deals and collaborations. In front of the camera, her relationship with her mother looks fine. But everything changed when her mother met a 21-year-old man named Saqib Hussein, which led to a tragedy. In 2019, a relationship began between Saqib and Ansarine, Mahek's mother. But after 2 years, problems started to arise. Ansarine wanted to end it. Saqib couldn't accept this and even begged her not to leave him. When she didn't listen to him, it escalated, and he began threatening to release sensitive photos. At this point, Mahek found out about her mother's situation. Instead of going through legal means, Mahek decided to take matters into her own hands. She contacted a friend who was a mechanic, Rakan Karwan, to make a plan to lure Saqib into a meeting using money as bait. The plan also involved other friends and acquaintances who were part of the operation. On February 11, 2022, the group gathered at a Tesco supermarket in Leicester. They were waiting for Saqib. The plan was an ambush and murder. Meanwhile, Saqib went with his friend Hashim Azarin, who drove him to the location. Hashim didn't know he would get involved. When they arrived at the Tesco parking lot, Saqib sensed something was wrong. So they immediately left and tried to escape while Mahek, her mother, and their group chased them in their car. Out of fear, Saqib called the emergency hotline and gave details about the vehicles chasing them. Eventually, the group caught up with Saqib and Hashim and blocked their car on the highway. In the final moments of the call to the police, a scream of fear was heard before the line was cut off. According to the police report, Saqib was held captive and burned alive inside the vehicle. Although the group tried not to leave any evidence, they committed the crime in a place with many CCTV cameras. After the incident, they left the area but were still caught on surveillance cameras while walking at night after abandoning their vehicles. Because of the combination of 911 call records and CCTV footage, the police quickly tracked down the group and arrested them at dawn. On August 4, 2023, Mahek Bukhari and her mother were found guilty of 2 counts of murder. Both of them were sentenced to life imprisonment, with Mahek required to serve at least 31 years and 8 months before becoming eligible for parole, while her mother has a minimum of 26 years and 9 months.